Welcome back to Collision Repair's Industry Insider. I'm your host, Allison Rogers. Today we're here with Tim Morgan, the Chief Operating Officer of Spanesi Americas, to talk about the company's recent virtual event, Spanesi Interactive Week. So Tim, let's just dive right into it. Thanks for being here today. We really appreciate you giving us the time. You guys recently hosted Spanesi Interactive Week a couple of weeks ago. Can you tell the audience about the event and how did you guys feel it went?
I think it went really well. It was well supported by the industry, not just about our products, and that's not what we intended. It was about the whole industry. We spent time talking about, hiring the new Zillennial employees. We had a panel discussion there. We had support from two vehicle manufacturers. Jerry Benani from Ford Motor Company did a very good presentation on the new and upcoming vehicles and changes in their models. And then we had Frank Phillips from Rivian, which is an exciting new startup in electric vehicles that are coming not only in a pickup and a sport utility, they have an order right now for a 100,000 Amazon vans. And the technology that's in those vans was just amazing. I mean, it's really going to change the way collision repair is looked at. Camera systems, cameras even over the wheel well. So there's going to be a lot of electronic components in those vehicles that the technicians are going to have to be aware of.
Yeah, I personally found the OEM presentations to be really insightful, especially in terms of new technologies on the horizon for collision repairs. What would you say some of the key takeaways were from the Ford and Rivian presentations in particular?
Well, you can see a lot more new materials, new ways of repair process, and just overall excitement of the vehicles that they're releasing. You look at the new Ford Bronco and the 5 different models that they put together there, and using the same base platform with some changes of how quarter panels go on for restyling and some things like that. A little bit different than normal. The high strength steels that's being used, the ADAS on the vehicle, right down to the, if you want to call it, the creature comforts of, what it has in the vehicle for video screen, stereo, things to be able to help the operator of the vehicle. And then when the same thing with Rivian, when you look at, how their vehicles are being put together, they are a new launch. So their vehicles have only been, out on the road now for a couple, 3-4 weeks. And they've put together a whole two complete networks for collision repair facilities. One is going to be for their commercial vehicles, and the other one is going to be for their personnel vehicles. They've spent a lot of time. It's a lot of good industry people over there at Rivian that have come together. And even the explanation of their culture within their company is kind of different than what you've seen out of other vehicle manufacturers. Every owner of a Rivian is going to have like a customer consultant, basically, that's going to walk them through everything from the purchase to delivery to if they get in a collision. Obviously, with the electronics on the vehicle and everything, they're going to know when that vehicle's in a collision. So they're going to be able to contact the owner of the vehicle right away and say, "Hey, we've seen you've been in the collision. Are you okay?" And then work them through their network. Also, Rivian is going to also have their own self-insurance. So they're going to insure the vehicle. So they're basically going to make sure that the repair processes are followed by from start to finish.
Yeah, lots of new things on the horizon, both in insurance, materials, across the board, technologies too. Some we're prepared to navigate, I'm sure, and others we've got a little more work to do. So, what would you say to the facilities looking to tackle these modern vehicles, the ones looking to take on these new Ford vehicles and potentially Rivians? What should they focus on, tools and equipment, and even training-wise?
Well, I think ADAS it has a big future in the industry. Obviously, we did another panel discussion with Frank Turlip of a new product that he's releasing, a software product that even goes on your smartphone to be able to identify, first of all, what's on the vehicle. Secondly, then, besides what's on the vehicle for components, what are the procedures for that particular vehicle to be able to get it back in the position that it needs to be able to go back to a customer. Because from their research, they're only about 19% of the shops are even ready for this. And I want to say that it's less than 15% or that have turned around and embraced and are putting that on their, on their repair plans. So there's a lot of things that aren't being done in a facility today that really need to be done, or there's things that are being done that they're not getting paid for.
Absolutely. And getting paid for is the big question right now. A lot of people are asking that question, and it's about proving yourself. I know we've had many conversations here and, educating the customer and whatnot.
There's so many different procedures out there today that were not in a vehicle, say 7, 8 years ago. And I think there needs to be a lot more awareness of that going forward, so that the customer gets back a safe vehicle. Just resetting the light on the dash, if you want to call it, or eliminating the codes doesn't fix the problem.
Mm-hmm. So in addition to other panels, you also hosted the hiring panel. Obviously a very relevant topic right now, considering the skills shortage we're in and have been in for a while. So what were some key takeaways for the audience from that session?
I think one of the biggest things was that we need to get to the younger generation sooner. By trying to get to them at a high school level, it's already too late. They've already decided what they're going to do with their life, or they're already being guided by their parents or their guidance counselor where they need to go. I think that shop owners today, us as equipment manufacturers, even people in the insurance industry, I think need to get to the level of, say, 7th or 8th grade education process to be able to show them that, look, there is something besides a 4-year college, and you can be even a creative person when you start to look at collision repair, being a painter or structural technician or whatever, to be able to work with your hands. And in the future, as we see all this ADAS and stuff come forward, I can see every shop's going to probably need, besides a mechanic, a technician that is a technology person, to be able to find what procedures are out there, or learn the procedures and all the computer stuff that needs to be done in the future.
Absolutely agree with all those points. And I know we had a conversation in our last webinar about how we absolutely need to get to them earlier. You're right. By the time a lot of people are in grade 9, 10, 11, that they already know what they want to do. It's too late for these career fairs and stuff. So we really do need to promote, in your insurance sector, key point as well. Everyone, all sides need to, equipment manufacturers, everybody needs to push that. So absolutely. I know there was a lot of key takeaways during that session, and these sessions are available to watch still.
Absolutely. Yes. They're up on YouTube at Spanesi Americas on our YouTube page. And we'll also be relaunching them as we edit out on our Facebook page. Awesome. So yeah, you can go click and watch the thing. It's open to the public. It was amazing, the turnout that we had, and even the comments right after that we were given about, great job here, or, they really thought it was presented quite well. And I know there's a lot of work that went on in the background to be able to pull it all off.
So, of course, the focus of Interactive Week was not entirely on Spanesi products, but you did make some announcements during the event. Could you tell us about the new products you were focusing on during Interactive Week?
I think one of the big buzzes was when we showed our new Hero pull tower and pulling system for the light repairs, along with our pull-up system. Especially right now with the supply chain issues of not being able to get certain parts, we're seeing that shops are having to look at repair alternatives instead of replacement, because 6 to 8 weeks to get a quarter panel just doesn't make sense when using our Hero tower system along with our pull-up system. We actually did live repairs during the event. So if you go back and look at the recording, you can see that we did some small damage. We actually even pulled a quarter panel on an aluminum vehicle to show that repair can be performed. And a real unique feature about our Hero is you don't need to put tie downs in the shop. The tie down feature is actually, you take the car in the adjoining space and you just put a tire over the holder, and that actually becomes your tie back. Also, there's no hydraulics. It's run by what we'll call a worm gear ram. So you're actually just taking an air ratchet on the end of the ram, and that gives you your 5-ton pulling capacity. So some pretty neat different things that you can do today to be able to help speed up the repair process, especially, like I said, right now with the supply chain issues of not being able to get parts.
So you recently updated the 14500A spot welder. What are some key features on that tool? I know there's a lot of automated features. Tell us about it, Tim.
Well, one of the biggest features is every trans gun seems to be pretty heavy. And by trans gun, I mean for the spot welder, the actual transformer is in the gun itself, so that you can get the most amperage at the tips, and hence the 14,500, because it goes up to 14,500 amps. So we were able to streamline and drop between 5 and 7 pounds out of that gun, make it a little bit smaller, some different components to be able to lighten it up, so not so fatiguing on the technician. We also changed the screen concept to go from function keys to a touch screen. So it's interactive, how it walks you through how to be able to, from start to setup, to being able to make the actual weld. Pretty exciting changes there. It still has the ability to be able to save all the welding parameters, so that you can pull them out on a USB stick, put them in with the rest of the information that you may be putting in with the repair order, so that you can prove that the vehicle was welded correctly. And it's still given up to the powerful of 1250 PSI at the tips.
Yeah, overall, it sounds like you're really striving to make the job easier on the technician, weight wise, simplicity wise, just sensing the type of metal that you're welding there and thickness. It's a pretty cool technology that we're seeing. But obviously, we know that welding is an ever changing subject, especially spot welding. So, Tim, I'm interested to hear your thoughts on what's next for welding and collision repair. What do you anticipate we'll be seeing on the horizon?
Well, I think what needs to be looked at with the resistance spot welding is more automation, or making it more automatic, like we already have with our self-recognition software that recognizes the material type and thickness from millisecond testing that it's doing before it makes the weld, and then so every time it's sensing what it's doing, because more and more you don't know what you're working with today, and it's becoming more and more high strength steel, so you need to make sure that you have more power. And when you look at the voltage in the shop today, it's not always the best voltage. That's why the trans gun is what you have to be able to amp up, if you want to call it, the the amount of current going through the gun. But you're right, ever since spot welding has started, we're probably on about our 5th generation type of spot welders. But also, if you look at MIG welders also, I mean, MIG welders have changed with the high strength steels and different things that, our Q52 product line, which there's several different models. We have a 3-torch. We have now, we're coming out within the next 30 days with a 1-torch unit that does the same as the 3. But a little bit more compact. And then we have a 3-phase unit, depending on the power and the amperage that you need. They need to be smart welders also. So we've done all the behind the scenes work with the parameters, and have turned around and tested the materials, tested the wire, tested the gases, and we give the technician an actual program to turn to for those types of materials, with a chart right inside the door, so that they have the ability to be able to turn around and have a starting point, and just have to make some fine tuning to be able to get their weld. The other thing I would suggest is, if the shop's not doing it already, is test welds. The test welds are really necessary in both spot welding and MIG welding. And I know a lot of shops down here in the States, they actually keep those samples so that they can prove that, yes, they did tune in the welder to be able to make the welds on the car. That's also something that I don't see a lot of times on the repair order. If you look in the P pages, there is time there to be able to set up the welder in order to be able to make the correct welds, and also to be able to do test welds. So once again, there's money that people are just leaving on the floor because they're not writing it in the repair plan.
Ooh, very exciting to hear that the 1-torch unit is currently in development. The audience can look out for that announcement soon. I know in our last webinar, we had some questions about where Spanesi's products were made. So I just wanted to clarify here, Tim, where are Spanesi products manufactured?
They're manufactured in Padova, Italy, and we also manufacture some of our products here locally in the Chicago area, especially for our spray booth, so that we can comply with ETL and CSA requirements. So we make sure that the products that we are representing actually turn around and are made to the correct standards.
Awesome. Thanks for clearing that up for us, Tim. So back to Interactive Week. Now that it's under your belt, you have this production studio, you've got all these cameras. What's next? What are you guys going to do next?
I think you're going to see every month something from us interactive wise, whether it's training, whether it's product announcement. We probably, after Interactive Week, got probably 6 or 7 inquiries from other companies that said, hey, we'd love to join in, and we have XYZ that we would like to show, the industry. And I mean, we spent the money. Instead of doing a couple of major trade shows this year, we spent the money for the equipment and the processes and the software to be able to do it, to put this together. So, I mean, we have 3 studios here. This is going to be something we're going to use for a long period of time. It actually even brought us to the point that, we're going to launch within the next 30 to 60 days, an actual LMS system that we're purchasing so that we can take the training to the next level.
Wow, okay, very exciting news. You guys have a lot planned on the horizon training-wise. We can all look forward to seeing those sessions. For anyone who didn't tune in to Spanesi Interactive Week, you can expect some high production value there. It's a pretty incredible show they've got going on. Well, thank you so much for chatting today, Tim. It's always a pleasure. And to the audience, be sure to check out Spanesi's Interactive Week sessions. They're all available at Spanesi-Americas.com for rewatch. There's tons of material there, something for everyone, so I highly recommend you check it out. It's all free. And thanks for tuning into this episode of Industry Insider. Be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube, or Amazon Music, and we'll see you next time.